It was wild. So it's been a year, right? And I've been going to the Manor like all the time, and I've really felt comfortable there. Like for the first time since the rave scene, I'm like, I feel like holy shit, there's like possibilities in life. There, and
Thank you.
the next thing I know is I'm on the St. Andrew's Cross, and there's a friend who I don't want to name it because I don't have consent to mention her, but
Okay, fair enough.
a very good friend of ours, you know,
Hmm.
is on another St. Andrew's Cross, and
Hmm.
I felt like we were like girlfriends getting pedicures or manicures, except we're getting fly.
Little different, just a
Mhm.
little different, but good. I appreciate that. That makes me feel so good because that's been my goal, like, is to have this common place. Because being in New Jersey, there's no place to go anymore, and or it's all the way down south, or in the central. Like, there's just nothing in North Jersey where I am. So it it just made sense for me to put a place that everybody could go to, feel comfortable. I wanted it to be like, a kink fraternity. Like a kink fraternity slash sorority club slash anything goes, I guess. Because we're completely, everybody can come. Like, we're gender inclusive. Nobody's excluded. So I wanted it to be that safe space where everybody can let their freak flag just kind of like fly, hang at half mast. I don't care. Whatever they got going on.
Let's see, we got people in the chat already. Joanne Prante says, "Welcome to you both."
Welcome.
Yarn for Sunshine says,
Oh,
"Both Nick and
wow.
Shari are
Good,
amazing."
good friend of ours, good friend of the Manor. It's so, I tell you, that's one of the coolest things about having Mischief Manor is that I have like people that I can be like, oh, those are friends of the Manor. Those are people that come to my, I don't know. I mean, I hate to call it a club. It's not a club, but people come to my dungeon, like people who come to use my space, and there's regulars and there's recurrent people. So I'm having this. I don't know. It's like a, I don't know, like a kink renaissance for me, where it's so inclusive, and it's so it's like it's like a social club. You know what I mean? Like, it's more than
Yeah,
just like a place for me to work or a place for me to let other people borrow. It's actually turned into like a very kinky social club, and there are people that I see weekly. There are people that I see monthly, and I love that. I love that I can count on that. Um,
it's
and
some.
it's very comfortable, especially coming out of that crazy pandemic where nobody was talking to anybody, nobody could see or visit or whatever. So to have this like place to coalesce and get together and share ideas and learn, because I provide education there. And there's parties. I mean, we've done everything from Naked Twister. We have Kinktionary coming up. Like, we're trying to make it not just about come here and use the dungeon, but come here and make some friends, make some lasting friendships.
Mhm.
People need connection.
Yeah, and I must say, just to start it off, I'm so excited I didn't even intro you yet.
I, I know. And can I laugh at something?
Please,
Can I just call you out on something?
of course.
Because when we started this, you're like, and you'll never know when we go live. I'm just going to do it and you won't know. Meanwhile, there's a big banner that flashes across the stream. You are now live.
Oh, great. Okay, I didn't know that. I was
And
never
I'm
on
like,
that.
oh, wow, cat's out of the bag.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to know. That's great to know. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my God, please, you are in for a treat. This woman helped save my life. No joke.
Aw.
Really, we'll go all, but we'll talk all about that. But this woman,
Not from like drowning. I don't want people to think that like I jumped in and saved. I'm not. It
metaphorically,
wasn't more like a physical. It wasn't a physical kind of saving. I'm not that limber.
metaphorically, let's put it that way. But oh my God, we are in the presence of a legend, a BDSM legend. Seriously, in these circles, I know a lot of people, and wow, I am honored, absolutely.
Thank you. Oh,
The
it's so great.
she teaches classes. She taught me not to be a dick. You know,
Well,
seriously.
that's like the theme of my dungeon. Everywhere you go, every doorway you enter, like, instead of a mezuzah, there's a big sign that says,
Yeah.
"Don't be a dick."
This and oh my God. So what she did, she started a year ago. about a year ago, we'll go into that interview. We
Mhm.
interviewed. I just got out of a liver transplant, and
That's
I'm
right.
recovering. I look like Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
You weren't that bad, but you were a little scruffy around the edges. I mean,
We'll see. We'll see. We'll look at that. But this woman started in the process moving from North Brunswick to Wharton,
Mhm.
her dungeon to Wharton. Started Mischief Manor. Her
Yeah,
your company production, is
right.
Mischief Matters. This
Yeah,
is Mischief Matters at Mischief Manor. Definitely.
exactly. It's a nice little tongue twister. I like to, I like
Please,
alliteration.
everybody, show utmost respect.
Mhm.
Ask good questions too. Don't never waste the dom's time. Please.
Never, please.
Welcome. Oh my God, I am so honored, and you all should be honored to be in her presence.
I
The
feel like there should
glorious,
be drums behind me.
yes, the legendary Mistress Shari. Say hi.
Hi there. Hi everyone. Thank you. That was an incredible intro. Thank you for that. I'm very moved.
You right off the gate, sunshine comes in. Mistress Shari, the manor, and everyone is lovely. It feels
Thank
comfortable,
you.
safe, friendly, inclusive, and yet super kinky.
Yeah.
And she has hashtags BDSM, hashtag
Yeah.
Mistress Matters.
Yeah, I think, everybody laughed at me when I said I'm building a designer looking dungeon, but that is what I think makes it so kinky because it looks
Mhm.
it's such a comfortable place to be in because it's done. I pat myself on the back, but it's done very well. It's not cluttered. It's got the right amount of equipment in it, but it also feels like a home and it doesn't feel like you're in some kind of like corporate space, which you're not.
I
And
love,
that is something that I was really striving for.
I love the fact that there's the balance of like the let's say the danger aspect of the BDSM community because it's a hidden place. You never know where it
Right.
is. We're not giving out the address.
No, we're not. It's like a speakeasy. You have to have a password to get
You have to
in.
know somebody there. Yeah, which
We make
goes
it
out
very
the
exclusive.
yeah. But yeah, there's the comfort level where you can kind of go dirty minded in a way,
Absolutely.
but it's also you don't want to break anything. You want to be on your best behavior. You want to because you want to come back. You want to be invited. You want to be,
It's
you
the
know.
kind of place where, and this is truth, every single person asks me when they get there, can I leave my shoes on? Do I have to take my shoes off? And that right there should tell you what kind of place it is when you walk in the door, that people automatically say to me, should I take my shoes off?
Yeah,
That always to me, like, that sets it up with the kind of place that it is, that people really want to respect the environment. And I love that.
definitely. Oh, Cherry just sent me something. Oh, oh, okay. I don't know. That's nothing to do.
No,
All right.
nothing to do with me or you.
All right. So, but Cherry from Cherry Conversations with Crossdressers is a friend. She's
Oh
been
yeah,
in.
cherry bomb. Yeah, we're doing an event coming up.
I know, and we're going to talk about that event.
Yes, we
So
are.
before we get into everything, let me just ask you this. I ask this to everybody, Mr. Shari,
Mhm.
what's inspiring you these days?
Oh, truth, people. Like
Yeah.
no joke, no joke. People like I don't care if it's in the political arena, your personal arena, whatever. I am seeing people showing up for other people more now than I have in many years. And it's been really, really nice. Like a friend of ours in the community had a baby recently, and a bunch of us on a Friday night met her and her baby for dinner at a restaurant. I mean, there was like 16 of us there. Just people like seeking out those connections and creating spaces for other people. And we were all there really to celebrate this woman who, I knock on wood, I mean, I would never do this. I could never had this kid on her own. Elected to do that, signed up for that. And anybody who's a parent knows that's a tough job when there's two of you. So to sign up to just be one, that's a that's an unholy, that's just amazing to me. That blows my mind. And we were all there to celebrate her. And that was all from my community. And then you have what's going on all over the world. There are people that are standing up for themselves and people that are not sitting down and letting people roll right over them anymore. And that's very inspiring.
Mhm.
It feels really good to be part of that. And I know it's not all sunshine and roses, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
We can look for the opposite anywhere, but that's not my nature. I always try to look for the good. I always try to stay positive. That's why I have the reputation as the nice dom. I'm not this crazy corporal, like smashing, smash nuts in a vice kind of thing right when I meet you, kind of dom. I definitely, I like being the nice dom. I like being sneaky. And I like coming at it from the side because it really it's benefited me well. But that's what's inspiring me is other people because they are doing incredible things lately. It's like very new.
That's why I'm very much inspired by you and the people at the Manor. And like I said, I'm just happy to be a part of it. When seeing like a year ago today, you were in North Brunswick,
Yes.
right? And you're running your dungeon out of there. I've been there. We did a show. We did your show, and on 420.
On 420, that's right. Yeah, so it has been like a year. That's incredible.
Yeah, it has been a year. And I was going through oh my God, I'm still living now, kind of phase, right? Which I'm still going through in many ways.
You probably will forever.
Probably, yeah. I'm living on borrowed time. The clock ticks faster, as Doom says. But I saw it. I witnessed the whole thing, and from you moving from North Brunswick to where it is now.
You helped me move.
I helped you move. I ironed curtains. I couldn't lift shit because I just had a transplant, but I could iron a curtain and talk.
Yeah, you iron curtains, and you're like, no, there, little to the left. No, it was great.
What's wonderful about it, what's really cool about it, is that in that time where I felt literally hopeless, did not know how the hell to get my life together, Mr. Manor gave me, and you specifically gave me an energy, a vibe, and life, basically, to like learn, get it. And I'm like, oh my God, these people have their shit together and they're happy. I could as much, but they could all come together. So, and that's why I wrote that story, and I'm putting all that thing, and I'm putting
I still have it. I keep it like right, like where I can reach it. So. Yeah.
More questions.
3 more questions. I love questions.
I guess. Mr. Shari, you always make me laugh. I love your sense of humor.
Thank you. Thank you. I love your spelling. That's wonderful. At least you spelled my name right, though. That's what I, really am impressed about. So
now,
Joanne, she says it's like a family. It is. That's intentional. That's intentional. Like we just had a Passover dinner at my house, Passover Seder. My whole family were all still alive and well, and I get along great with, but they were all scattered. Nobody was home. So I invited all my kinky friends who were Jewish and not even just, you want to come experience a Passover Seder? Come over. And it was like family. It's a chosen family. It makes a huge difference to have that in my life, like to have the family that you actually elect to tell everything to versus the ones that you like dread telling anything to.
That's another. I think the beauty of kink is that, like, especially like in the dungeon, like for example, that person who like I said, I don't have consent to mention her name, but like she was close next to me. We hang out, we smoke pot together, we eat and stuff like that. But it's like when we see each other, you can see each other that way, or you could, there's a trust involved.
Just think of it this way. When they say, like, when you have to speak in front of a group of people, sometimes you should picture them naked. I don't have to do that. Chances are, have seen everyone naked already. Like, I've just accepted this now that I pretty much have seen everyone naked. So, okay, I have to find a new way to speak in front of people because that one's not going to cut it anymore. But that's what it's like, and it's totally normal that the same people that I see in very precarious positions and in predicament bondage and enjoying themselves and having too much fun, maybe, or whatever. And then the next day I could be at a diner having a meal with them, celebrating a baby. So it's perfect. It's really comfortable. And it's, I feel like it's that true, like, communal vibe without having to live all together. Cause that I would not be good with. I have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, definitely what pricing. But so Mistress Manor, in that 1 year already, it's already been events, right? Talk about some of the events that you've had,
Okay.
the events that you're most proud of.
Well, I would say that one of the events that I'm most proud of is definitely the Naked Twister. I think people came to that night just to see how we were going to do that night, like how it was going to go down. And it was so much fun. We had to have two different games going. We had to have one game and then wait and do another because so many people wanted to participate. And I thought that was amazing. And some of these were strangers, some of these were people that I've never seen before, I'd never met before, and they all just wanted to be part of it. And then when Twister was over, everybody stayed, hung out, some played in the dungeon, some hung out upstairs, and just drank and ate. Like, it was so comfortable and normal and just a good time, and everyone was smiling, because think about it, no matter what you tell your friends, your family, the people on Monday morning when they ask you what you did that weekend, all you have to say is, I went to a Naked Twister party. And all eyes on you. Everybody wants to hear your story. And you don't have to give away like the real dirty stuff. You don't even have to tell them that it was in a dungeon. You just get to say without lying that you were at a Naked Twister party.
Actually, it's better if you don't tell them the details.
Right. I mean, because then it's like,
oh yeah, I can't tell you the details.
Yeah, it's
you weren't there.
Very eyes wide shut.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, like, that kind of stuff, it makes it. I mean, that was the most fun. We of course, like Halloween. That was fun. I mean, because let's be honest, if you're in kink, Halloween is one of your favorite holidays. It's like your chance to be like, oh, and by the way, this is who I am. Oh, you don't like it? Then it's just today. And if you like it, call me later. I mean, it's Halloween. That's like our holiday. So I really loved Halloween. Although anybody who was at my Halloween party knows that for one of my costumes, because we did one Friday night, we did one Saturday night, and one of my costumes had white tights. And if you know me well, you know I don't like to wear any color, much less white. And I was like, after about an hour, I was like, I have to take my costume off. My legs are burning. Like, they're burning. I can't be in white. It's bad. And so, yeah, that was so now I know. Lesson learned. No more Halloween costumes with color for Mr. Shari.
And Stan Vladimir asks, Miss Shari, what are your fetishes and kinks?
Oh, boy.
I guess personally, what personally do you like? I mean, you could do anything.
Okay, obviously. So my personal one definitely like spills over a little bit into the pro dom one, because I love being someone's first. Like, whatever their like, if they've never done it before and I get to do it with them, then yay. That's become a kink of mine. It wasn't a kink when I first started, but now it's become one. It's something that I actively seek out. I like having that, being part of someone's first. But other personal kinks of mine, I love impact play. I'm getting into rope. Rope is becoming like a new kind of kink for me. And electric. Oh, I love electric play. That's just tingly all over. That's a good time. I can't get enough of that. And now that I have kinetic rope, I can combine my electric play with my rope, and that just makes pretty lights all over. I love it. That's why I like it. I tie somebody up and I take a violet wand and I put it to the end of the rope, and it literally lights the rope up. Just little sparks, and it looks like little fairy lights. You know me, I like to make everything pretty. So
Kate West, the goes to Sunday service, the show we do at the end of every month. She has a question that's ongoing that she'd like to ask, and her question is, why are men so obsessed with their own assholes?
Well, it depends which obsession that you're talking about too, because there's two kinds. There's the hygiene, cleanliness, and they can take it to a level that's like, oh, okay, like simmer down. And then there are others that just, I think they discovered it feels good, and it's so taboo, and it's just everything gets layered on top of that I think, it just always is going to be something that they're going to obsess over. But I mean, I don't. It's not one of my obsessions.
Now, so you have swinger nights, and then you have basically like dungeon kink nights.
What we generally do is we do a dungeon kink night, like, and anybody can come at all walks. And then one night during that weekend, because we're only open the third weekend of every month, one night during that weekend, we open up just for the LGBTQ community. Because my submissive, who takes care of my manor and everything, is a member of that community. And it's really important for me to provide a safe space for him, to provide a social space for him that he can socialize. And, like anything else, it's my job as a dom to take care of my sub. Yeah. That's my job. I must take care of him.
Catnip boy,
he takes excellent care of me.
He's magnificent. He's he's so loyal. He's just a nice person, intelligent person, knows. Awesome. He's really cool.
And I have to take care of him. I have to make sure I have his back. And one way I can do that is by making sure that he has friends and a social structure. And I know enough about him to know that he's not always going to seek it out on his own. So now I bring it to him. And inside of this social space where everybody is safe, he's also gets to be Lord of the Manor in that respect. So it forces a spotlight that he welcomes, he likes, and he'll deny it. He likes, but he would never seek it out on his own. So this gives, it's like when when anybody comes to you, he's the host. So everybody has to say hi to him. Everybody has to introduce themselves to him. And so it makes it very easy for me to deliver on this. He must be taken care of. He must have a social life too. As much as I want his whole world to just be me and I could live happily like that, that is not something that I actually wish for him. I want him to have friends and a life outside me. I want him to be entertained by someone else other than me.
I keep on asking him. I want to do just an episode about him talking about his playbills. The guy, Catnip.
How many hours do you have?
Because this show, we could talk about that forever. That's the point of the show. So,
whenever we go to shows, he's like, we got to go out. We got to go stand by the door. They're going to come out and they're going to sign it. And I'm like, no, it's raining. It's cold. Or I'm like, I'll go get the car. You wait.
It's the beauty of theater.
I'll go to the theater. I love the theater, but I'm not. I don't care to wait for their autograph. That's not my thing. That's his thing, though, and it's important to him. So whenever it's feasible, we actually do it because it's important to him, and it costs me nothing. So I get to make him happy in a moment. Oh, yay, points. I mean, it costs me nothing. It makes him happy.
One thing about you is you handle your time very well.
You think so?
What you accomplished just in this year, is incredibly impressive. And you have a life that's outside that you don't. Lots going on that you don't really that doesn't go into your professional life. Right. So how do you keep that? I mean, most of my friends are professional doms actually, who just and they have that struggle too of managing just the craziness.
The struggle is real. I hate using that cliche, but it's real.
How do you do it? What's your advice for someone, especially who's coming up?
You have to work at it. It's not like there's no template. There's no you just have to actively work at it. You have to make every effort. Perfect example is today. I have to spend time with my personal family. I have to see them. I live with them, but I have to see them. And so, I wanted to make time to The Mandalorian is my I have to watch The Mandalorian. I was 3 weeks behind, which makes my partner 3 weeks behind. And that just doesn't work. He's getting a little antsy. I would like to know what happened next and da-da-da. So I literally just had to take an hour and a half, 3 hours today, whatever it was. We just binged watched caught up to the Mandalorian. Like, I had to make it my business. I had to write it down. I had to remind myself every day that I was going to do it so that nothing got in the way, because otherwise, you juggle all those balls. I mean, it's such a cliche. They will fall down. There is no perfect way to do it. And I'm going to fuck up occasionally too.
Yeah.
You just do it, and you just, okay, I fucked up. I was just here to say you're sorry and you move on. I mean, you try. Yes, I have. See, I multitask. That's what happened. That's how you do it. You have to multitask. Last night I was at dinner with friends, and someone was talking to my husband, and I'm talking to their husband, and I'm having a complete conversation. And in the middle of it, I answered her question because I could hear two things at once, because you have to be able to. So that's the thing.
Chris Paco says, in this lifestyle, everyone is a work in progress and you never stop learning.
100%. You and I had that conversation the other day. There's only
Yeah.
one time that you will ever stop learning, growing, transforming, and that is when they are throwing dirt over you.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's when it ends. Other than that, you just keep going.
So you have an event coming up. I was listening to a song. I was listening to a song, and it said, one of the lines in it was, "I don't want my best dressed day to be in a coffin." So
Oh, I like that.
there's long live the chief. So
I like that.
yeah. So in other words, for those
Dark, but I like it.
cross dressers out there who want to be dressed, who want to look, they regardless of their sexual identity or their fetishes or anything, some people just they want to look.
Look, forget what you even think about the kink or whatever. We can all appreciate the fact that if you are going to wear women's clothing, wear women's makeup, you want it done right. Like, you want to look good. You want to look good. If you're the person looking at them, you want them to look good too. Like, you want it done right. You want it to look good. So no matter what you think of the kink, you'd still want it to look good.
So we're not only looking good, but acting good, acting the right way. So you are starting, I think, the first New Jersey, or at least after post-pandemic, Sissy Charm School.
Yes, it's April 23rd. April 23rd. We're in North Jersey in Morris County. I'll divulge that much. And it's like from 1 to 5. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a makeup artist there. So someone will be there to give you makeup tips and teach you how to apply makeup and how to do it correctly. In my former job, I worked with a lot of models. And so I had to coach them how to walk and things like that. So walking in heels is not easy, no matter who you are. I don't care if you're female, male, non-binary, a clown. I don't care. Walking in heels is hard, and it's hard on your body. And there's a good way and a bad way to do that. And I like to teach the good way. So there's going to be some of that. We're also going to have a very good friend of our communities, Chef Dave, will be there, and he's going to cook up some like little brunch finger foods and stuff, because believe it or not, when you're dressed like a woman, you have to eat differently. You have to do everything differently when you're personifying a woman, because otherwise you'll give it away. Like, you want to fill the role and fill the part. If you're going to get all dressed up and do it all, you might as well do it 100% and go for it. So we'll have some of that there, and and we'll just be able to talk and discuss anything that cross-dressers are curious about, anything that people who struggle with their femininity are curious about. They can come to this too. And yes, Cherry Bomb will be there. She does a podcast specific to cross-dressers, and I love that. She understands them better than most people. She really gets the beauty of them. She celebrates them, and that's what this is about. This is not about like, oh, you're doing it wrong and you need to be. No, this is a celebration of people who like to emulate women, and some of us want to help you do that.
Yeah. Chris Packer says, walk like you're on the runway rather than the linebacker. If you can.
Absolutely, because if you walk like you're flat-footed, there's nothing sexy about it, and there's nothing. And one of my favorite things people forget, women's clothing is traditionally tighter. If you're in a long skirt, you can't take big strides. You can't walk like a man anymore. You have to take little steps. And so there's little things like that we will teach them. And you know, most of them actually know it. Like when you say it, they all go, oh, yeah, that makes so much sense. Why didn't I think of that? Because it's not,
Yeah.
it's a lot of it is common sense. You just sometimes need someone to remind you, somebody to gently lead you in the right way. And that's what we want to do. We want to have fun doing it. You know, this is not about demeaning or making fun of anybody who's into this. This is really about celebrating it.
And that's one thing I find it interesting that because there's shame that comes with cross dressing.
Oh yeah.
You know, a hardcore shame. People, I'm not making jokes of this at all, but people have committed suicide because of that shame.
Yes.
And people have hurt other people and hurt themselves because of that shame. And you know, me as someone who likes to, you know, dress up, who likes femdom and all that stuff, I struggle with the aspect of like, I don't want to degrade women or womanhood, you know, by it. So if I, like I said, like I always say, I want to use my fetish for good. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I can be a superhero.
Well, I feel like sometimes there are men who dress like women, and it is to be, you know, a sissy, demeaning in some way, humiliating in some way. Like they can only perform that task or do that deed or speak that way, or if they personify a woman. Then there's another group, and I find these are coming up more and more, especially in younger generations. Um, it's more of a solidarity with women, like, you know, that you have to walk a mile in my shoes to really feel what I'm feeling. So I feel like some of these men are willing to walk a mile in my shoes. They're actually want to see what it's like to be one of us, so that they could better understand and actually better help and be a better ally, and to really support us. And I think that that makes it a beautiful thing. And I try to emphasize that. That's where I come down on it. Like when I am in a session with a crossdresser, that's where I come from on it. It's hard for me to humiliate or degrade somebody for wanting to be like me. Like, understand that dichotomy. Sometimes a lot of our clients will ask us to degrade and humiliate them for being a woman when I, in fact, am a woman. So that's a very hard line for me. And I won't always participate with that. But if it's about that solidarity and understanding that, like, oh my God, it's not that I can't walk in heels because I'm a man and it's difficult. It's that, oh, it's fucking difficult for everybody to walk in heels, including you. And now I can bond with her over that. And that is so much more powerful. And it's also a more powerful way to express it with your partner, especially if they're resistant to it. You know, if you can align with them, if you can get them, that's much easier to see that they're a team player in it versus they want to wear your clothes and look better in it than you do. Like, it's not a contest, you know? But I get, for some men, the shame is real and it's exciting, and the shame can also be arousing. It's a very fine line. And you know, I think as long as you're honest with yourself about why you have that fetish, why you have that kink, and you don't hurt anybody by doing it. I even if it's about the shame and degradation of it, as long as you're acknowledging it and you're making clear that that's what it is, and the people participating are on board with it, then, you know, it's not my kink, but hey, it's okay.
I'll
So
never forget, and so at the Manor, and Terry, I think it's the first time Terry came to the Manor. So Terry and I are very good friends. I've been on her podcast. She's on the show many times, and she hosts conversations with crossdressers. I'm downstairs in the dungeon just hanging out. You're there. There's a bunch of crossdressers, or there's a bunch of,
always.
you know, and they start walking. They're talking about heels, and all of a sudden you're like, wait a second. you're just like, okay, no, this is how it's done. And they loved it. You like taught a class off the whim, just like then and there, basically taught a class and made them do like runway catwalk. Yeah, up and down
because
the dungeon.
There's a whole different center of gravity that women have when we walk, you know, and yeah, and it was fun. It was cool. I rarely play in my dungeon when I'm having parties, when I'm having events. But when you catch me off the cuff, like when something comes up where I'm like, no, I just have to fix this. I have to correct this. I have to handle this. You know, then it's spontaneous, and you know, it's very authentic that way. So I prefer when things happen like that off the cuff than
But
me planning
and
them,
also,
because it's much more authentic.
yeah, that's why this show is live. That's why I
Yes,
don't.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. I do mine live too, and I love that. I think it's it just makes for a more honest communication, more forthcoming, you
definitely.
know.
And shout out to your podcast. You have a show
I
called.
do. I do. Mischief Matters Radio. You can find it on artistfirst.com. I'm sure once we get around to it, we'll put it on other platforms, but right now that's where you can find it. If you just look for Mischief Matters on Artist First website, you'll find us, and you can download past shows, and you're on one of my shows. But we talk about all kinds of stuff. But I have a great show coming up this month. On, I think, when is it? I have to look on my calendar. It's April 18th. We're speaking with Darren Campbell, and he is a relationship coach out of Canada, specializing in ethical non-monogamy and kink related relationships and all that kind of stuff. And we're discussing toxic masculinity and how it has infiltrated kink culture, and how we can work to recognize it and combat it, and and actually replace it with just a better culture, a better way of doing it. Because most of the time, toxic masculinity is ingrained and
It is.
accidental. And, until someone says there's a better way for you to do or say that, they really don't, nobody knows. So we're going to go over that on my show. And I am really looking forward to that.
Because I sense it. It's ingrained in me. I don't want it there, but it like just through society and through time and through living, and
Right.
it's
And,
like
and it's gotten so distorted, because think about it. Just let's take something very simple, right? That, but way back when men opened up doors for women. Okay. Feminists, we don't need you to open up our doors. We can open the door for ourselves. That's great. But some of us, I still like it when a man opens a door for me. I
I'm just
like
being
it.
kind. I just think it's
So,
kind to open doors.
right. So I don't want it to go away. I just am willing to acknowledge it for what it is. But
Mhm.
you can't just take away, like, it's all about balance, and how do we find that balance? And that's really what concerns me too, because there's so many young people who they've been in their basements for 3 years looking at porn and not leaving the house. And then when and these are young people, like in their 20s, late teens, when they discover all this, and they think that's really how relationships and everything are. And you have to get outside that. So for me to create this safe space where even they can come to realize, oh, that's not really how people interact. It's a safe space for them to explore that and discover, because otherwise then we just perpetuate the same thing over and over and over again.
Oh, so we do have Chris Backo says a little bit of humor. I'm half Greek and half Scottish, and men on both sides wear kilts, skirts. Excuse me.
Skirts, awesome. Yes, they did.
Yeah. And Joanne Parente says, I absolutely love cross dressers. That's how I got into the whole community, if you will. I'm extremely appreciative and attracted to men who are feminine.
Oh, and honey, there's plenty of men who will flock to you on FetLife. Have at it, because there's a shortage of women like you in kink.
I know. That's what I told Shari. I told Shari when we became friends, I'm like, you have no idea the floodgates. Like, she's like, oh no, I get contacted all the time. I'm like, you're gonna get, like, especially the more
100%.
just find out that you're with cross. So there you go. Okay, let's talk about that, because you and I, we've talked about this a lot. There are people out there who have been stuck in their basement looking at porn for 3 years, right?
Yeah.
There are people out there. There are cross dressers. There are, or just kinky people. We don't have to be just kinky people in general, who have this desire, this fetish to need, but what they're doing is they're flaking out. They're wasting time. They're
scared.
They're not showing up when they're supposed to. They're not
scared. It's scary. It's very scary when you do something that's out of the norm, not well received or respected in most social circles. I mean, kink is still hidden under the rug most places. It's shameful. You don't talk about it. You don't discuss it. So it's no wonder you know, I mean, why would they? I can't think of the word, but like, it just it doesn't surprise me at all. I guess.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
Stan Vladimir says, I was going to bring to this. When doing dungeon parties, do you have events where you all sit down and watch movies or something else besides?
Oh, that's a plant. That's a plant. Stand new. So yes, because socializing I feel is so important because all these young kids, and even adults, you know, because think about it, if your marriage fell apart or your relationship fell apart during the pandemic, you couldn't even go out on a date. You couldn't, so you too were stuck in your basement, and you know, and that's men, women, everybody. And I started to host some of these just plain social events. There's no dungeon involved. There's no sex involved, no sex talk, no classes, no nothing, where you can just come and hang with the people that you vibe well with. And so once a month, we do a movie night. And I force everybody to watch the 80s movies that I grew up watching. And it's usually a double feature. And no lie, we pop popcorn, we have hot cocoa, we do have alcohol because we're not, you know, nihilists or anything. But we sit there and we watch these movies in utter silence because, as everybody knows, duct tape is gold. What is it? Golden. Silence is golden, and duct tape is silver. Always
Yeah.
fuck that up, but I get my point across. But yeah, that's the point. Everybody silently watches the movie like you're in a movie theater. So we are returning to teaching people how to behave in a movie theater again, and we have a great time. It's been so much fun doing
Oh
it,
yeah.
and you know, and it's just it's the togetherness of it, and something to look forward to. And we order pizza. I mean, we make it like a high school movie night, and
Yeah, it's wonderful.
and you can come in your pajamas. You could bring a blanket and a pillow. Like, it's a comfy, cozy night. It's not a
They're like
take
cuddle
thing at all.
parties. They're like cuddle parties.
Some of the people that come definitely enjoy a cuddle space, and there is a space for that. But yeah, I'm not the cuddler type. So,
Yeah. But
but my sub loves cuddle puddles. I think you call them.
cuddle
Yeah,
parties.
cuddle
Cuddle
puddles.
parties. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we saw Spaceballs. We
Yeah,
saw Princess Bride.
airplane. That was
Airplane.
awesome. Um,
We did
my
Hamilton.
cousin Vinny.
My cousin Vinny. Yeah.
Hamilton. We watched, which Hamilton was not on a movie night. That was a different night, but we did all watch Hamilton
Yeah.
because some of us really love musicals.
Well, yeah. Let's talk about musicals. All right.
Let's talk about
Let's
musicals.
talk about musicals. You know me. I'm trying to pitch this community theater type kind of burlesque BDSM homemade Mischief Manor production. Still
I'm all
working on
for
it.
it. Okay.
What's your theme song? The lights go dim. Right?
Oh,
Lights go dim.
100%. I know what boys like by the Waitresses.
I know what boys like.
That is my theme song. That's it. If I could license out that song, it would be my theme everywhere
The
because
waitresses.
that
I
would
believe
be
they're from Jersey, actually.
that would be awesome. I don't know where they're from. I don't even know if they're still alive. Who knows?
I could be wrong.
But
Yeah.
you know, they wrote my favorite Christmas song ever, Christmas rapping. But I know what boys like. That's something that I have a knack for. So I would say that was pretty much my theme song.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
I think it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Okay. Nico Noir has a question.
Sure.
Basically about money. Some of these people that Doms deal with have a lot of money, and they become very
Patrons?
generous
They
with their
become
money.
patrons.
They
Yes.
become patrons, yes.
Yes.
And then something
Boosters.
happens, right? Something happens, and they kind of take, they're like, oh, I can't be a part of this anymore, or something like that. But then they come crawling back.
Mm-hmm.
Do you charge them a tax?
It depends on the situation that they had to leave. I have to be very honest because, if somebody left for some like bullshit reason because they couldn't handle things and, but if it was a medical reason, if it was like, let's face it, some of our clients are advanced in age, and their partners are advanced in age. So if they have to take a leave for a while because they have to handle something, then that's what they do. My thoughts are, is if it's communicated, then anything can be revisited. But
Mhm.
yeah, sure, if you get someone who is kind of like
Time waster.
a time waster, like he was an active client for a while, then he won't make an appointment and he won't do this, and it's like pulling teeth. I mean, I've told people like, hey, I don't have time for this, and it's not that I wouldn't see you. You're clearly not ready to see me again, so contact me when you do. Like this is bullshit. Stop wasting my time. Stop pretending the waitresses were from. Oh, see, you see, and now I'll never get that song to be licensed on my show. The lead
No,
singer
that's
died of
okay. That doesn't mean you
cancer.
don't own the publishing.
That's true. But
It's like Chris
so
Baker says the waitresses were from Ohio. Thank you, Chris.
thank you, Chris. That's I went to college in Ohio, so that maybe that's why I like it so much. But yeah, I think that it depends on the circumstance. One thing that I do, it's like a standard with me. If you pay your deposit and you don't show for your appointment, but you want to make another one, you have to pay in full now.
Mm.
Because it's not so much about wasting my time as, I mean, that's part of it, but it's also, I find, if they're willing to do that, if you're willing to put a deposit and never show up again, and then you're calling me again for another appointment, this is clearly something you want to do, but you just can't light a fire underneath your ass to get
Yeah.
out and do it. So by putting more money, like by saying, no, you have to pay it in full, that's putting something at stake. And now maybe you're more likely to show up because you paid for it in full and you don't want to waste your money. So that is why I do it. I mean, there is just the whole, it's more convenient for me at that point because then my time isn't wasted, but there is a motivation to it. It's not just about, well, I deserve my money and it's not all that. I do want my clients to show up. It is more fun when I work with them
Of course.
than, so it's, I do want them to show up. And I find when they put something at stake, they're more likely to show up.
I was talking to the show yesterday. It was a kinky fertility doctor, Tina Cooper Smith, and
Okay.
she says that you were talking about the meaning of life. You know how I go off on tangents.
Like I don't.
We're talking about the meaning of life. She said I thought like the meaning of life was to continue, and she basically said it is, but the meaning of life is to connect with people and continue.
I
And I
think so
think
too.
resolution and solving problems is all really truly about connection. If you make that connection to an agreement to solve whatever problem it is, whether you to see a dominatrix, to show up, to pay, just
Hmm.
there has to be a wanting to, there has to be an
Right.
intention.
I mean, and everyone's experienced it. Like, think about points in your life where you have met somebody that, like, you have a disagreement with them. Something's not right, but you really like them. You
Yeah.
want to get to the bottom of it. You want to course correct.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, it's
it's
fixing
the same
yourself.
thing.
So let's speak about fixing yourself and fixing relationships, fixing communications. Classes. You teach classes, and a
I
lot
do.
of it deals with that.
Yes.
So what? First of all, you teach one of the classes. Don't be a dick.
Don't
Is
be a dick. That
don't
is
be a
actually
dick.
taught by Catnip.
Okay.
Catnip teaches, my sub teaches that class because it's really about manners, but it's also about respecting people's spaces, pronouns, genders. It's how not to misgender. It's what to do when you do. Like, it goes over a lot of the social cues that coming into a kink environment you should be aware of.
Mhm.
You
What are
know,
some major mistakes? I mean, a lot of people mean well. They really do. I mean
absolutely.
well. And of course, I screw up, and I'm probably going to screw up, but I mean well. I'll fix it. But
Mhm.
still, what are some major mistakes that people use? The people who do mean well, that the mistakes like they kind of make up front, little ones even, that
You mean by like calling somebody by the wrong pronoun?
that's one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the most common I could think of because people respond well to visual cues. So like if you know somebody to have always been one way and now they present a different way, it might take a while for your brain to like rewire. That's not an excuse. That's what's happening and now you have to make every effort to combat, to know that that's happening so that you
Mhm.
can be cognizant and aware and correct yourself. But there's that. Or, let's face it. I mean, it's no different than when you see a little baby with curly, curly hair and bright blue eyes and you think, oh, she's so pretty. And then someone says, oh, that's a he. Somebody can appear one way and identify another. And I think that's the most common social mistake, but it's the one everybody seems to make. And it's the one that you basically just say, oh, sorry, won't happen again. And move on. Like, acknowledge it. Don't be a dick. Don't be like, oh, I hope nobody noticed. Or just be like, oh, my bad. Correct it. I'll do better.
So what are some of the other, because we were talking on, what's it, Thursday, we are talking about a new class. I don't know if you want to let that out of the gate yet.
Yeah, no, I totally would. I think I'm going to do it in June.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's how when I write a class, I work backwards.
So yeah, tell us about the process of, because I teach as well, not at your place, but I teach English writing.
A little different, but you could teach a kink creative writing class.
I'll do that.
We could do that. We could do that one time. People would love that.
Oh, I have exercises that.
Oh my God, people would go nuts.
Let's do it.
People would go nuts for that. All right, we'll talk.
I can bring other teachers with me and let's do it.
Yeah, and I even know an author. Oh, we could. Okay. Anyway, how I do it is basically I come up with like the kind of class I want to teach, and it's usually based on what I'm witnessing in the kink community itself. So where I'll see, oh, there's something missing there. Like this needs to be expanded on, taught, or it's something I want to learn too. Then I'll bring somebody to the manor to teach it so that I can learn it. That's my ulterior motive sometimes.
We're all learning. We're all learning.
Yeah, because, then I get to learn a new skill. But also, I will then decide like, okay, I want to do something on this. But like anybody else, I could be like, oh, I want to write a class on that. And it'll just sit out there like waving to me, and never doing it. So now I say, okay, I want to teach this class in June. So it needs to be ready by June.
Give yourself a deadline.
Yeah. And now I can just work backwards from it. So I wanted to do a class on how kink can provide an access to your authentic self. So how you could find a pathway to who you are, who you want to be, even. Like it doesn't have, it could be an ever-changing thing, but kink can actually give you access to it. So I'm calling it Kinknicity. So, I just liked it. And it actually is easy to say. Sometimes when you combine the word kink with something, it's not so easy to say. But Kinknicity actually is easy to say, and I liked that. So it's about how to really use kink to gain access to your authentic self. And it was born out of, I have a friend, and again, don't have permission to name their names, so I won't, but she comes to our manor with her boyfriend, and they are lovely. They are a lovely, delicious couple, and I love spending time with them. The problem is they're always late, and not like 5 minutes late, 2-3 hours late. And it was bothering me because then I didn't get to spend time with her. Yeah. Then I was missing out on being with them. And there's very few times to be with them otherwise because of their work schedule and because one of them lives somewhere else. Much, much farther away, and they only come in special. So when they're late, I don't get to be with them. And that bothers me. So I finally went up to them and I said, okay, what is going on that you can't be here on time? And she looked right at me and she goes, I'm just broken. I'm broken. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, you are not broken. You got a problem managing time. And let's talk about what that is, where that is happening, so we can improve on that, because you're not broken, And, and I have years as in a motivational background. I spent, oh my God, 33 years with a company that specialized in work like this. And, although I'm not licensed to teach that work, there are bits and pieces of it that kink just, they overlap. It's just time to just kind of combine them and give everybody in my life access to this wonderful information, because it makes a huge difference in how you are with people. And as you and I were discussing before, the most important thing is connection. Mm-hmm. And that connection is so important. And you can't have connection if you don't know how to talk to people. If you don't know how to communicate, you will not get that connection.
That's true. Definitely.
You know?
We're talking about, all right, vanilla fantasy.
Okay.
You're called in to a large corporation as a consultant.
Ooh.
Right? And you have to discipline the corporate underlings to, bottom lines. They gotta shape up. You're just brought in to like give a speech or just to do a little quick seminar or something like that. How do you use? It's a vanilla setting. How do you use your femdom, your dominatrix way of thinking?
Did you ever see Charlie's Angels with Lucy
Yes,
Liu?
that's exactly what I'm thinking about.
I mean, I went right there. I was like, do I have that outfit? I know I have the riding crop, but can I fit into that outfit? No, I went right there. I was like, that's well, it's very simple. You have to know your audience. Okay. So in a vanilla thing, and this is going to be a cliche and it's going to be misogynistic and ugly and whatever, but if it was a vanilla thing and it was a room full of men, I'm going to have all their attention on me. I'm going to dress specifically for that so that I have all their attention, so that I captivate my audience.
Oh yeah.
And
Use the
they
power.
can hear what I have to say. That's what I would do. Now, in an environment that wasn't where it was stacked for me like that, with that kind of advantage, I would probably ask a relative or a universal question to get everybody on my side, and then you go from there. You have to find something relatable, something that
What's a good universal question to get everybody on this? Or you know what? What's a good universal question to get anybody on your side?
what'd you have for breakfast today? You start a conversation.
Yeah.
You just start a conversation with somebody, not at somebody.
Yes.
And that's the difference. And
It's always good to talk with someone than at.
and how do you do that? You ask a
People.
question.
Mhm.
It's the easiest way to do that. I tell people who don't know how to communicate what they want from people, to narrate what you're doing. Like, it's the same advice you would give to somebody who wants to learn how to do dirty talk. Narrate what you're doing when you can't articulate what you want or what you're asking of someone. Start narrating what you're doing and you'll find your words.
Interesting.
That's what I tell people. So that's what I do a lot.
Like the reader says, what do you think of using femdom for anxiety?
I can say that I know it well. This is the one time where, my mother's advice actually works. I hate it. I hate, that this advice works at all, but it does. And especially when it comes to femdom, fake it till you make it. It works every time. If you fake it, and femdom, I'm not saying it's easy to fake. I'm saying, like, you dress the part, you look the part, you show up to be it, and you just, plow your way through it. It just will start to become you. It just lands on you because it feels right. If you are unable to do that, then you might understand that this is not the right path for you, that a femdom thing is not for you. It's no different than anybody else. I mean, an actor or a musician or a lawyer or somebody who, works data entry. It doesn't matter. That if something is a struggle for you to actually do, you can't find any joy in even pretending to do it or faking to do it, then that may not be your lane. So
I think it goes with not only the sub, but also the dom aspect.
100%.
Yeah. Like, if you may not be into the person who you're subbing, for,
Right.
even, but if you want to explore femdom and explore kink and stuff like that, you don't know until you try.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And nothing actually is clearer than a new relationship when it's about kink or whatever. Think about this, okay? No matter what generation you grew up in, whether you're Generation Z or millennial or Generation X or a baby, it doesn't matter. Everybody grew up learning the same fairy tales. Woman in trouble, man save her. We all grew up with that.
Damsel in distress.
Damsel in distress. I'm your knight in white, in shining armor. I'm going to come in and I'm going to save you and rescue you and stop the train and shoot the guy, like whatever it is, right? But not everybody is built to be a damsel in distress or to be a savior. So how else are you going to learn that there's another way to be than to be your authentic self with someone else? How are you going to do that?
This image you're talking about, damsel in distress and metaphor. I like to write, so I speak in metaphors. Metaphorically, I'm thinking I'm the damsel in distress. I was on the train tracks. I met you. And
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Because I like, I'm not one of those people who think, oh, let me rescue you because you're in trouble, or let me fix you because you're broken, or no, but if there's something that I can do to help you to move forward, to get you past something, to get you through something, then I'd be a real asshole if I didn't show up and do it. If it was within my power.
Let's talk about the very first time that you were on this show.
Okay.
People forget when doms have to, spank using a bare hand, just as much as it hurts you, it hurts us too.
Yeah.
True. So true.
But look at me. Oh my God. I just got out of a transplant. I'm just starting to do the show again. Melissa's in the mental institution. I'll go through, I don't know if I'm going to live. I don't have a job necessarily, have work. I don't know about the future of the show. I meet you. No, seriously, I thought I don't know about anything really. I met you and I saw what you're doing. I wanted to be a part of it so much, and I am a part of it. And
you are always.
And it has helped me so much, just like in everyday life. This is how kink can save lives. The way of thinking, seeing people, connecting with people.
It's community.
You're kinky as hell and you got your shit together. I can too. I could be that way too.
Right. I mean, look, you and I've had this discussion. Everybody looks at me and they'll be like, oh my God, she has her own place, her own dungeon. She works. She totally has her shit together. Yeah. Behind the scenes, maybe not. I'm just a swan like everyone else with my feet going like this. But the point is that I look at it like it's fun. I will say, I know not a lot of people are like me in this respect. As overwhelming as chaos is, I actually enjoy chaos.
Me too.
I thrive in it.
Embrace it.
Yeah, I thrive in it. I like change. I seek it out deliberately. That's just my personality. That's who I am. I know that doesn't work for a lot of other people, but that puts me always in someone's path who needs that. Because I'm always changing and I'm always willing to go different, to experience different things and explore other places. I'm often in someone's path that then I can assist in that way. And I love that. I think that feels great. It's
the only constant, like my dad always says, I always hated it when he said it, but it's
I know, true. We can't stand when our parents are right.
The only constant in life is change.
Yes.
So so if you embrace it, because it's always going to be chaos. It's a law of thermodynamics. It's
cliches
physics.
Exist because they're true. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Cliches exist because they're true.
Oh, okay. Oh, Stan Nicholas, you look very nice in a beard. You look pretty damn good. Oh, thanks. I looked horrible. But all right. Speaking of things to say, how to start conversations.
Okay.
What pickup line worked for you?
I knew you were going to do this. So, all right. This is like a true story. You got to bear with me a little bit. When I got to college, I've never forgotten this pickup line ever. I thought it was the best one I've ever received. And I was at a fraternity party. It was my freshman year in college. And I was sitting down somewhere where, all the different people that were at the party would come and sit down next to me and talk to me about whatever. And this one boy sat down next to me. He just started talking to me and he said, did you know that this is the most sought after seat in the house? And, every time it's vacant, someone else automatically sits down next to speak to you. And I was like, oh, really? I go, well, what would happen if I get up and walked away? And he goes, we would all follow you. And I thought, okay, I will hear what you have to say next. Like, how could I not? And I ended up dating him for 4 years and I almost married him. So it worked like a charm. I can honestly say that. But yeah, I never forgot that. That was by far the best pickup line ever.
We're gonna ask. I asked. We talked about this, and I asked Tina Cooper Smith, the doctor, the kinky fertility doctor.
Okay.
And hers was the best. The best pickup line was the morning after.
Okay.
Can we have dinner tonight?
Can we have dinner? Okay.
No, I thought that was funny. All right, so so back to your classes, right?
Okay.
So you teach, catnip teaches don't be a dick. You've taught all the classes. One of the classes that you're well known for, is the blowjob class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
I've been teaching that for 20 years, so I should know what I'm doing by now.
So let me ask you this: for people who, what are some of the mistakes or the common mistakes that most people make when giving or even receiving a blowjob?
The first one is that the first mistake they make is they won't take my class because they think, oh, I know how to do that. And I'm like, of course you know how to do that, but you upgrade your phone, don't you?
Mhm.
Like, you upgrade your phone.
Yeah.
Clearly you can upgrade your skills. Like, I mean, you don't know everything. And there's, a lot of different ways that a penis can be blown, pleased, enjoyed. I mean, there's just a million different things to do. And I always think like it's nice to take a refresher course. It's not, and that's really the first mistake is people think they don't need it because people think of when you go for an education on a class like this that you're doing it because you're not good at something.
No. Oh, yeah.
No. I mean, I never doubted my skills when I was younger, but somebody was offering a class. I was like, fuck that. Yes, I want to take that. Like, what else don't I know? That's what that is. And so that's where I tell people, like, it's not that you don't know something. It's not that you don't know how or can't. It's what else don't you know? Like, aren't you curious what else there is that you're not doing? Like, wouldn't you want to know that? So that's why they should take the class. And that's the first mistake that people make. Beyond that, most people learned blowjobs from porn, men and women. So, I think the mistake that people make is that not all people are going to look up at you through adoring eyes of fake eyelashes and have a French manicure.
True. Nina asked, chastity penis benefits. I don't know if this is a question. Benefits for mistress or key holder. So keeping chastity in the penis, what are the benefits for the mistress and what are the benefits for the key holder? My girlfriend wants to lock me.
Okay, so the main benefit, the main reason why you would lock somebody is so that they don't play with anyone else. That's the main reason. That's the basic black and white version of why there would be chastity, why you would lock somebody in a cage. That's the purpose of it, is so that you can't use your dick on someone else. Now, it's evolved over the years. It can come to mean many different things. Sometimes it's just about possession, like, oh, that's mine and I only take it out and play with it when I want to, and you can't play with it without me because that's my toy and we do that together. So there's that aspect. There's just the aspect of teaching somebody self-control. Maybe they play with it too often. And so you want to teach them self-control. Maybe there's nothing like going on like that. You just feel like, hey, I want to put it in a cage and hold the key because that's fun for me and that's kinky and I like it. The only thing that I come down on it and say is that as a mistress, the benefits are different. They require us to do different as well. Like, in other words, I can't just hold on to someone's key and not check in with them occasionally and be like, hey, are you letting it out for air occasionally? Are you doing all right? I have to monitor them. I have to make sure they're maintaining safety and hygiene while caged. So there's responsibility. If it's locked up and there's like rules on it, like say for the month of October, where you lock it up for 30 days. Well, as if I like to use it for myself, if I like to play with your penis, then that doesn't serve me at all if it's locked up for 30 days. So as long as the rules and the negotiations are clear of why the mistress likes it locked up, why the sub enjoys it locked up, and vice versa, I think anything goes. I think as long as both parties are on board with the rules and that they're very clear, like when you can take it out, like when you can unlock it, when you can't, and what purpose you're unlocking it for. Like you have to be very clear. And then it can be a lot of fun, like a lot of fun. But, you know.
Victor Reznov asks, Mistress, do you enjoy forced bi and slut training?
So I take a little umbrage with the word slut training because all like there's no training somebody to be a slut, and that's a very derogatory kind of way to put it. I know how you're meaning it though, Victor. Like I understand where you're coming from, but I change that in a way to be like, you know, you're service training, you're bottoming, I do take that derogatory word out from it. And I'll say things like you're behaving like a slut would behave. You're behaving slutty, but I don't actually call it like slut training. Like there is that's a little bit more demeaning to me. Like that's not someplace I would go with it. But I know where it's meaning. You want to be forced to like be the one that has to take it all, clean everybody up, suck as much cock as she forces you to, or what have you. But it's really more about just making you a hers and making you her slave or her bitch. I even don't like that all the time to use that word, but that's really what it is. But slut training, that's that to me, when I hear that, that's a little different.
Neo says, have you had a dick locked in chastity for a long time? And do men really become more submissive and feminine? Thank you, goddess.
Like as they're older, do they become more submissive and feminine? They can. It's more likely to happen.
I think what Neo means is in chastity. If you keep them in chastity, do they become more submissive and feminine?
I would think that they become more submissive, but whether they become more feminine or not, that wouldn't come up. I'm not a therapist, I don't know any of that stuff, but I wouldn't think that would actually come up with being caged, because being caged and having your penis in a cage to me would make you more aware and more aware of your maleness because you have this. But then again, it depends, I guess, on the motivation for keeping it in the cage. I mean, maybe, it really just depends on that, but it definitely would make them more submissive. Like I have noticed that men who like to stay caged, men who like to be caged, they become more and more submissive. And I sometimes think that just the cage alone gives them permission for it. It's like, well, I can be her little bitch because I'm caged anyway. And it makes it more okay for them to wear that badge. Like it's more like, like the costume of being the submissive.
It's a reason, it's permission basically to be kinked out. Just like femdom, and crossdressing go hand in hand. It's I think it's men using women basically to get permission so they can
make their kink okay. Right.
So okay, let's me, my mind just goes off and off. Now let's say you, right, practice wise, but you have endless resources. Anywhere in the world, you could do anything you want.
Anywhere in the world,
with anyone, living or dead. Well, they'll be alive at the time, but when you
so no zombie kink retreat for me. Okay, good. I don't like that.
You know what? In this fantasy, but in this
fantasy, no, I think live is better. Let's stick with live, people.
Let's stick with live, right? Yeah, this is a celebration of life. So, yeah. So right. So where is it? Take us there. What's going on? You Mischief Manor, and Mischief Matters at Mischief Manor. But let's say,
no joke. Like I know it already. Like, did you ever see Exit to Eden? Just that. Just that. That's that. That. I'm done. I'm done. Give me an island where everybody comes to learn, to enjoy. Just let me run that. I'm done. That's what I want. that would be the big dream. I would love that.
Let's make this happen. Give us money. I'll be the
money. Somebody give us an island.
I'll be the concierge. I'll just be the concierge. I'll wear a suit. It'll be an
You'll be
excuse.
tattoo. You can stand at the end of the pier yelling, "The plane, the plane."
Yeah, I'll be tattoo. Shari. The plane.
Oh, that'd be awesome. But yes, that's what I would want. I want to be Mr. Rourke.
Daddies and kink equipment and dildos.
Absolutely.
Casters, artists, you gotta be.
Oh my God. I would have sculptures in that garden, the likes of which you've never seen. They would be like all beautiful and Greek and Roman, but fun.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you mean. You want not like David,
No. I mean, maybe David would be there, but he'd be doing something else.
Yeah. Okay. If you had your own erotic boutique on that island, you give it a name, what would it be?
Oh, you're talking to somebody who came out of the fashion industry. So I used to want to open up a lingerie store. Like that was one of my dreams. And I would call it Hester Prinz.
What?
Hester Prinz.
Oh.
From the Scarlet Letter, Hester Prinz.
Oh, yes, I remember we talked about this. Yes.
Yeah. So I thought that would be a really good name for like a lingerie store.
Okay. So we're almost done. So, the other classes, you have the blowjob class, you have the Don't Be a Dick. What are some other classes that people might be interested in?
Well, we have some that I teach, which is like I'll teach stuff on how to be a nice dom, how to be a dom. I will also teach stuff on protocols and a lot of like how to be a sensual sadomasochist, things like that. But then I also bring in people to teach classes. So like coming up, we have 2 classes I'm psyched for. We have a foot fetish class coming up in April. And that's by I don't think she'll mind if I say her name, Eclectic Goddess. She's teaching that. I'm excited about that. And then in May, we have a needle play class that someone from Virginia is coming in to teach. So I can't wait for that. And on that same day, we're doing a chemical warfare class.
What is that?
Chemical torture. Chemical torture is a lot of fun. And people, when they hear chemical torture, they immediately think like acid and, oh, no, bad, which, yes, acid is very, very bad. But acid also comes in the form of a lemon, ginger.
Yeah.
Just plain rubbing alcohol. Like there are things that you can use that are benign, but can cause great discomfort to another human being. So, figging is what I would consider a kind of chemical torture because, it's using a ginger root to cause a definite reaction. But it can be a lot of fun, but you have to learn how to safely do it. There are rules to chemical torture. And so because of that, we're bringing in an expert who's going to teach it. I can't wait because, I'm going to use all of it.
Yeah. I worry for catnip because it might get messy, like lemon juice. And
oh no, we'll put a tarp down. We'll keep it clean. I'm not gonna go make a mess, but me, I don't like.
That's another thing. All right, how the hell do you keep the Mistress Manor so clean all the time? Every time I go there, even when I was there building the place,
I hired somebody to clean it, Nick.
Yeah. It is absolutely beautiful. You are truly creating a scene, which is, like I said, I'm honored to be part of. You are going to go down in history.
Well, I love that you want to be a part of it because it's only meaningful if people are a part of it. Like it just won't operate all by itself.
Okay, rapid fire recommendations. They don't have to be kink related at all.
Okay.
All right. Recommend a film.
Oh God! I actually go see Dungeons and Dragons. It was phenomenal. It was so much fun. It was really fun. Go out, go to the theater, use your movie theater voice, and watch a movie on a big screen. And that's a good movie to see on a big screen. So Dungeons and Dragons. I know. I can geek out with the best of them.
No, they love you're the you love.
I am such a geek.
Who was saying? I think Stan was talking about. Yeah, I grew up watching badass women kicking ass like Sarah Connor, Ellen Ripley.
Oh my God, Star Wars has been playing all day. It's been on my TV just all day. Like I know how it ends, but I still watch it.
Of course. Definitely. All right, so recommend a song.
Flowers by Miley Cyrus. Totally addicted to that right now.
Okay.
Very, very female empowerment song. And it's in a low register, so I can sing it. So that works really well. But yeah, no, I'm obsessed with that song right now.
Recommend a book.
I just learned about a book this morning, actually, that I thought looked fascinating. It's called How the Alvarez Girls Lost Their Accent, I think. It's so every Sunday morning I watch on TV that this one newscaster does a banned book list. So all the books that they're trying to ban in Florida and all of those places, every week he showcases one of them and has the author on and whatever to tell you all about it so that you hear it directly from the author, why they wrote it, why it shouldn't be banned, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, this was a book this morning about how, what it's like to be assimilated as a Spanish, they were from Dominican Republic, and how they had to assimilate into America. And it's on the banned book list. And that's such a stupid thing. So I say, go look at a banned book list and any book on there, buy it and read it just to stick it to the man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I wrote a book called The Coolest Way to Kill Yourself, and people.
That's got to be on a banned list somewhere.
It is. Yeah.
Where are you banned?
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria. Well, you know what? It qualifies though. You are banned in Bulgaria. You cannot buy your book there.
In China.
You know? And China. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Recommend you did a song. Recommend a television show.
Ooh. I don't know. I'm about to start. I'm getting into this Yellow Jackets.
Ooh, I did. My friend Rob writes an ongoing piece about them. About that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I keep seeing the ads, and I'm like, I love the cast. It's time. Like, I know that they're in season 2, but I'm like, all right, I'll start doing that. So.
Yeah, oh yeah, the cast is amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Recommend art. Any form of art, any medium. It doesn't have to be. It could be
just. Museum. Go to a museum. Go to the Museum of Sex in New York. Go to a museum. Just pay your patronage to a museum so that everybody can keep seeing art all the time. If we don't go to see it, you won't get it anymore. That's the truth. So just go to a museum.
Bad books.
So pathetic that, I mean, the books that they are banning are terrifying.
I can't believe it when they were. Don't get me started on the Supreme Court judge talking about they're questioning Ketanji Brown. They're bringing books. Ted Cruz brings out that book about like whatever. It's just like what a waste of fucking time. Anyway,
such a waste of time because quite honestly, you could ban any book in this country, but with the internet and everything, everybody could get a copy of that book.
Right. Yeah.
So
if they want
you may think you're saving the children. You're not. And you know what? These are not the things that are, like, let's be honest, that are a problem in school. Books are not the problem.
Yeah, getting shot is a problem.
Guns are the problem. And I'm a pro-gun person. Please hear that. I have guns in my house. But books are not killing our kids.
Yeah.
Books are not killing them.
And we need creativity. We need it, and especially now more than ever.
Absolutely, because for all those kids that felt so unwanted and so unloved that they had to shoot up their school, imagine if there was a book they read that spoke to them.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, maybe that one instance would have been different.
That all goes communication, bringing people together.
Yeah.
All right. Recommend back to this. We got to get back to happiness.
Yeah, I know. We can't see the political thing.
All right. Recommend a meal.
A meal. Oh, well, I like finger food, so I'm all about fondue and shit like that. I like anything that you can eat with your fingers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I'm a
right.
little klutzy, so I find, if I can just use my hands, it's better. I'm not klutzy on purpose. I think I have carpal tunnel from doing the flogger all the time. So I think that my hands are weakened.
All right. Do you want to play the word association game?
Sure.
Okay. Now this
What
is
do
a
we
different.
play?
Before the word association game was just say the first word that pops in your head. Okay.
Okay.
This is actually make a sentence. So think of it like creative writing. Any
Oh, I
sentence.
have to think. Okay. Let me get my thinking head on.
It's
Okay.
off the top of your head.
Okay.
Right? So there's no wrong answer. All right. All right. Well, let's.
Well, I'm a dom. I'm never wrong.
Exactly. Yes, Mr. Schari.
Yeah. That's right.
All right. Pegging.
Always better with a partner is it's just pegging's better with a partner. What can I tell you?
Okay. All right. Scratching.
Ooh. A sentence with scratching in it.
Yes.
He was
Or
trying.
scratch.
He was
Scratch.
trying to scratch his way out of the pet cage.
Garter belts.
Or a pain in the ass. Garter belts are a pain in the ass to wear.
I know. Last night they kept on falling off.
I know they keep on snapping and
That's
coming
terrible.
undone. It's really inconvenient.
But you, as something, as we were talking about this before, that one thing to as a crossdresser, right? As someone who likes and appreciates that, one thing it does is it makes it's not easy being a woman. It's not easy
No.
looking like a woman.
No,
It's not
that's
easy
why.
dressing like a woman, talking like a
That's
woman.
why I sit there and I say to people, if your person in your life or whatever is really committed to being a crossdresser, if they're really into it, nobody would really choose this. This is hard stuff. like you should see how much makeup I have, and like it is not like being a woman is hard. We have a lot of crap that goes along just to be the women we want to be. Like it's not like a roll out of bed and I'm just a woman today. I mean, we work at this. We work hard at it. That's why if somebody wants to take the time to learn how to do it correctly, to really enjoy it, I'm going to teach them. I'm going to share that with them because I know it's hard. So if you're really committed to doing it, then who am I to stop you?
Definitely. Yeah, that's true. So, all right, back to the game. Back to the game. All right, splashing.
Splashing should be done by people who are only well versed in it and enjoy it, and it is not for me. So I really don't have a whole lot to contribute to it. I have friends that do it though. I have friends that love it, like that love it. Yes. Oh yeah, the same friend. Yeah, we have friends that love it, but for me, to me that just means that it's a different kind of dirty. It's like an actual physical dirty, and I don't like that.
Okay.
Like even today, I had somebody seek me out for a pro dom session, and they're like, "But I want your feet to smell, and I want really smelly feet." And I'm like, you know what? I'm not the dom for you because I'm not going to make my feet smell. I don't like my feet to smell. I respect that that's your kink, and I respect that there are many of doms who are willing to do that. I'm just not one of them because it doesn't make me feel good.
So let me ask you this: out of all the years of doing this, what surprises you now?
I think what surprises me is when I do something that someone hasn't done. Like I said, I love to be part of someone's first, but they really enjoy it. I love being there for those light bulb moments. When they get like, wow, I'm really into this. And I was a part of it. I like sharing that. That's what makes me like really happy. Like that. And it always surprises me because it always happens unexpectedly because it's completely organic. So it's not planned. It's not me writing the script for it or laying all my tools out and, oh, I know if I do this, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. I like when I find that moment where I pushed their envelope enough that they experienced something they never did before and I got to be there.
Okay, we're wrapping up. The word association. Face slapping.
Face slapping, going right back to the clip. Still hurts my hand. Face slapping hurts my hand. To slap someone's face, it hurts my hand. but I will do it if I have to. But you know what? Here's the thing. Can I say something about face slapping that I've learned in recent years? When you ask somebody to give it your all, like, yeah, I could take it, just face slap me. We're gonna do that. Like, we're going to do it. I'm going to reach back as far as I can and let it rip. And it's gonna hurt, and your eyes are gonna tear, and your nose is gonna run because I'm hitting all those nerve endings that cause those reactions. So please only ask for this if you're prepared for all that to happen afterwards.
I just have this picture of someone gonna be like, "Why'd you do that?"
Yes, they're always like, "I didn't know my eye was gonna tear, and I'm gonna like, yes." You know, or then tell me, can you just tap me across the face? Then I know to go very lightly and just make like a but if you're gonna ask me to like wail, be prepared for what that feels like. It is not a pain that is usually like the kind of pain you get from getting your ass spanked, or you know, or even the bottom of your feet or the back of your calves. This is a significantly different kind of pain because it connects with certain nerve endings that cause specific reactions.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, what's in the future? We have Sissy Charm School, but
Sissy Charm School, April 23rd. If you want to find out about any of the events, any of the classes, I'm gonna give my Jez a plug right here because their platform is so fantastic and I love them. They handle all my tickets for all my events and my classes. Go to forbiddentickets.com, look up Mischief Matters, and it's all there. Yeah. I stay very current. We're there through June at the moment. And you'll find the different parties, what their themes are. All the information you need to read about it will be available. I'm very thorough. And you can sign up right there.
And just like, just like the rave scene, the underground parties I used to go to, there's a process. There's a vetting process involved. You have to show you have to put in the work if you want the job, so to speak.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? So when you go to, if you've never been to the Manor before, if you've never been to a munch with me before, you could still go to Forbidden Tickets, because on each event will be a form to have you get vetted. If you're coming to a party, you need to fill out that form to get vetted so that you can come to the party. Classes, however, you do not need to be vetted for, because classes, it's education. It should be available to everyone. However, I use that to vet you in person then. So if you come and take a class, you have the opportunity to get vetted in person, and then you can just sign up for events as you see fit from that point on. Granted, if you behave like a dick in those classes, then you are not going to pass the vetting, but nobody ever does. Everybody who comes, I've never had to, knock on wood, I have not had to ban anybody from my Manor. No one has ever behaved in a disappointing way. I'm very fortunate, but there's a reason for that. All of my parties, all my events are limited to 35 people. I can control that. I can see all that. Me and my staff can watch everybody. It's easy to manage. That's why it works. That's why I'm allowed to keep a sex positive space. That's why I'm allowed to, when you come in, I don't take your cell phone. It's not a problem. Nobody has ever taken their phones out when they're downstairs in the dungeon and taken pictures without permission, without moving things out of the way. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's been very respectful.
Yeah.
So until it's a problem, I don't have to have a rule about it. If it becomes a problem, I make a rule. Kind of like we had to change something where I always had like no smoking, no cigarette smoking. And I had to add vaping because, there's a school of people who think, oh, well, it's vape smoke. It's not the same thing. I could blow it in the air. No, it annoys people. Yeah. So you cannot do that anymore in my Manor. Like little things, you make the adjustments where you have to. And when you're only allowing 35 people in at a time, I am free to make those adjustments. So that's been very good.
Do you want to look at some other questions real quick?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. Gold 90 says, is there a chance for someone poor in Latin America to be a slave of a domina?
I would think you would first have to find a domina to be a slave to and ask her. Like I don't know anything about the Latin culture, you know, aside from the Brooklyn, New York. Like I don't know much about it.
And he then Gall 90 asked, "Do you enjoy taking control of a force
Love
by
it.
scene?"
Love that. That's
So
a fun and unique experience for me.
tell us about that. Because I mean we've talked about, we talked about a lot of things, but it's one of the things that you have done. So let's say hypothetically there's someone, you have a sub, a client who's never done a force by scene. Probably, I would assume, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that they kind of mention it and you kind of have to bring it out of them.
Sometimes I would say that most men, when they're bringing it up, they want to talk about it.
Okay.
In fact, I find that even if they won't act on a lot of their fantasies, just talking about them in the session is exciting enough. It helps a lot. But I do like being in the force by scene because there's a couple of schools of thought on this one too. There are some men who want me to treat them the way they would treat a woman in the same vein. So like I'll take the back of their head and I'll hold it and I'll push it down. And that's very exciting. And it can be a lot of fun. And I can get into it. So I have a lot of fun with it. And I also like, again, just being part of someone's first and commenting and narrating it, so that everybody is on a level playing field. And I also do it where sometimes it's anonymous, so that someone's standing behind like a curtain or a glory hole. I've done it where everybody's in the room together. I've done it where the person who asked for the buy scene is blindfolded, so they don't even see who they're doing it with. I mean, I will handle any scenario to make it comfortable, to make it happen. And I always find once you do one, they'll always take it a little further and a little further and a little further. And they like me having there. They like having me there, because then it's like there's someone there who can control the situation, make sure it doesn't get out of hand, make sure everybody behaves nicely. And also just to witness it, just so that, like, here's their fantasy. They finally get to do it. Well, they want to share that with someone. They want to be able to tell somebody who's not going to judge them, who's going to like go, yay, and cheerlead and be excited for them that they experienced this. And that's me. That is something that I do all the time. And because it is fun like that.
Chris Bacco says the best countries in Latin America for a scene are Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, Colombia, and Chile.
That's a well-traveled man, Chris. Thank you.
That's what we do here. We connect people. That's it.
Absolutely.
Mistress Shari, that's what she does. See, people. And of course, he's back on it. Do you enjoy when a sub cleans the cum after a foot job?
Well, I enjoy anybody who cleans a mess after they make it. Fair enough.
Okay. Oh, we do have a caller. Stan Vladimir is here. Okay. He's got a question.
Sure.
Stan.
Hi.
Greetings.
How are you?
We're almost done. Mr. Shari is very busy, so we can't waste the time. So
right, but we have time for a question.
2 questions.
Okay.
I'll be quick.
Good.
One is, when did you decide to become a dom? What was your inspiration?
Somebody told me to do it. Honestly, for years I was submissive. I was on the play side. I would always play being submissive, and it was about, I guess it's almost 10 years ago now, a woman who I went to her dungeon in Pennsylvania, and she basically said, you would make a great dom. And I said, no, I wouldn't. You're nuts. And she handed me a flogger, and she goes, no, here, aim there and do this. And I went, oh. And then that was that. I never looked back. That was it. It was one of those moments I remember even looking at her going, I wish you gave me warning, because maybe I would have had one more submissive moment and I would have enjoyed that, but that was it. I never looked back. And then when I found out, oh, and I can make money doing this. Oh, yay, double. Let's do it. So that was, it was a very easy transition for me.
And your second question?
My second question is, what are your thoughts of medical play?
Medical play. So I will say that I have a pair of those clamps, the artery clamps that I use on, to stop bleeding, like in a surgery, and I put them on nipples and things like that. I do like that. I am all for certain aspects of medical play, as long as I don't have to wear white and dress as a nurse.
Well, there can be other colors as well.
Exactly. Thank you.
It's not
there
just
can
white.
be other colors. I will be the nurse of death or something. I'll wear black. Yes. Black. Thank you. Again, I don't even mind dressing up as long as I get to wear my color. But yeah, I do. The medical play doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I think it can be a lot of fun. There are certain things like, I'm not gonna give anybody an enema. I'm not, doing those kinds of things. But I can certainly participate in the instruction of it and, handing you the thing.
Which is your favorite part of medical play? Which one is you enjoy the most?
It's just being in control and them not knowing what I'm capable of doing. I like having that element of surprise. I mean, when I do medical play, believe it or not, it's a lot of fun to play with a violet wand because you could pretend that violet wand is anything.
Yeah.
You could be like, this is I'm going to laser your foot off. I mean, you can make anything up because it looks so terrifying.
Or like a dentist.
Exactly. So as long like you can use certain tools to really, emphasize medical play in a way you thought, oh, okay, this isn't so difficult to do. This isn't so structured, and you can have a lot more fun with it than even I thought I could have in the beginning.
When I did with my dom, it was for her, it was her first time. Like she's like, this is the first time that she felt like we were doing something else, because literally every time when she did with other people, it's always the basic. I was the first one. She was like, you're different from the rest.
Yeah, and we enjoy that. Look, we do the same thing every day. So, so when someone brings a different kink to us, we're like, yes, bring it on. Even if we know nothing about it, everything, you love it. God bless you. Awesome. Enjoy.
Thank you very much,
Keep exploring.
Thank you very much, Dan. Oh, Mistress Shari, you're a lifesaver. You really are. Please. Forbidden tickets, mischiefmatters.com. Any other places?
So I have a website, mischiefmatters.com. I'm on FetLife under Mischief Matters. The Instagram, everything is under Mischief Matters, or Mistress Schari. And as long as you spell my name right, I'm fairly easy to find because I'm kind of the only one. So that makes it easy. But you can email me, you can text, you can message me on FetLife. I'm pretty good about responding, and as long as you're not a dick, you'll get a response.
All right.
Thank you. It's fairly easy.
Thank you very much. Please go to yourkinkyfriends.com, subscribe, Patreon. We get some videos up there. Awesome. Join the Discord chat. There's fun. Oh, Maiden Sid. Shout out to Maiden Sid. Yeah.
You have a lot of chats and all kinds of stuff that goes on.
Yeah, I have fun.
You're a talker. You like it. You love it.
We have fun. And no, I cannot. Oh my God, Mr. Shari, everything you are doing for just the kink community in general, not just locally, but just in general, you're going to go down in history as you're going to be no joke.
I'm okay with that.
I'm going to see to it too. We're creating kinky folklore.
I've told you all along what my goal is, that when everybody dies, when you're up before whoever is waiting there to check you into wherever you go, and they know what you've been thinking about and all that, and they give you all those side eyes, and then when I arrive, they go, "It's you. You're the one they all think about." I will have been mission accomplished. So I'm okay with that.
With that being said, thank you so much. Say hi to Catnip for me.
I will.
Catnip is amazing. I love Catnip.
Yes,
there's a new comment. Is there anything?
He's working tonight doing Saints work. So I got to shout out to him. He does the hardest job ever. So
and shout out to everybody at the Mistress Manor.
Thank you. Yeah, we got a nice group. If you're ever in North Jersey, look us up. Come visit us. It's a real nice group of people. I also run the Skyland Munch with my co-chair, and we run that in Randolph, New Jersey. And you can come to that. That's a public event, and you can meet us and just get out and start connecting with people. That's the important thing.
And also, I do want to say, and I'm allowed to say, we've talked about this. Shout out to Sestra.
Oh yes,
Sestra, Sunshine, all the people at the Manor.
Yeah, we've got a good group. Abby. We really do. Yeah. I mean, I never thought I'd ever have something in my life where I have regulars who want to hang out with me on that kind of level, and it's been It's been life-saving for so many people, including myself, to have that. It really is. People need people. What can I tell you? We do.
Definitely,
no
people
avoiding
need
it.
people.
Yeah,
People need people.
Thank you, Babs.
People need people. All right. With that being said, thank you, everybody. Remember,
Thank
never
you.
waste the Dom's time, and never waste the Dom's time. But
No.
the major rule: be cool, be kind, keep an open mind.
Oh,
Have a
I
great
like that. All right. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.